Hi everyone and welcome to Valley Crafty Corner. I have a scrapbook process video to share with you today, and I kind of stole this idea from Nicole Jones 911. I saw her do something similar to this on a previous layout, and I really like the idea of using up a lot of the scraps from the kit. I was getting a lot of overwhelming amounts of these little bits, so thanks, Nicole, for this idea. So you can see I kind of jumped forward a little bit. All I did is I just took those strips and just started gluing them down, and I used a lot of my scraps up, and I wasn't really carrying on width or colors too much because they went together with the kit. So I just used up as much of those little, like the little border strips on the bottom, as well as just little scraps that I had around from each of the collections. And here I cut off probably about, I think it was half an inch, or yeah, I think it was half an inch, so it would leave like a 1/4 inch border around all sides of that paper, and I just backed it onto some dark gray cardstock. I liked how you could see the pattern paper, but it gave that pattern paper a little bit of grounding. So I really like that. And here I'm just going through some of the papers, trying to find some layering that I wanted to use. And I'm going to apologize here, like it probably sounds like there's a really bad echo with my recording, not like normally what I do. But since my surgery, I have a hard time getting downstairs, and my laptop is a little bit heavy, so I don't want to carry it downstairs. So I have it upstairs. So I'm doing my recording upstairs, and it's really echoey up here. It's not like in my scrapbooking room where I have a lot of stuff for the sound to be absorbed into. So I'm sorry about that, and the next few videos are probably going to sound a little really echoey. So back to the layout. Here I'm just kind of grabbing some of these scraps that I had. Like I'm getting really down to the bottom of my kit at this point. Like I think I had one full sheet of pattern paper, and the rest of this was scraps. And that dark gray cardstock, I don't think it came in the kit. There was a dark gray piece of cardstock that was in the kit, but I do believe I used it up on another layout. If not, this one is from the kit. So here I'm just kind of looking to see, you know, what sort of, like what sorts of paper I want to layer here. And that white paper is like the grid paper on the one side, and then the gradient red to orange stripe on the other side. And that was a Studio Calico piece of paper. I think it was Sun Drifter, I think it was called. And I'm sorry I don't have the notes on the product names of the stuff that I used, because that book is downstairs as well. So if you have any questions on that, I can get to it. Just leave me an email below. It just might take me a little bit to get back to you on it, or you can refer back to my first video for where I did the March Studio Calico kit, like the review, or not the review, but the products that were in the kit, and you can go back and you can kind of take a look at the products that I used. So here, this is that Maggie Holmes paper that has like these words wrote in on it. And I had that little die cut piece that said here, and in one of the scraps, and it must have been just by happenstance, it says there are many moments. And I liked how it would say there are many moments here, because this place that I took this picture at, which this is not a good picture, it's super fuzzy, you can hardly see the people's faces in the background, but I think it gives a little bit of some sort of I'm not sure what the word you want to call it, but it gives it in the photo interest, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't have to be a perfect picture that you scrapbook. this story to me was a little bit more important because this place that we were at, I grew up in this town, so and I don't know if it's a common thing, but in this small town where I'm from, we have what's called socials or dances, and what it is if somebody is getting married, and especially from where I grew up, and there is it's a really poor town. So what they do is they hold socials, and in these socials, it's basically a big dance. You have drink, like you drink, you pay for your drinks. You have your dance, like you have live music or like music or live music. And then you also have draws, like giveaways and stuff like that. And you have like silent auctions, I think is what they're called, or like just draws, and they usually have like some fun stuff in there. And it's basically a way for the couple to make money to pay for their wedding. Just because it's a farming community and it's really poor. So this is how it helps the engaged couple, get a little further along in their wedding planning and stuff like that, just to help it out. So you can kind of see how I started putting all the layers together. I had that dark gray cardstock. That's that pattern paper, and it's from crepe paper. And that one went right across the page. And then this one here, I wanted to just kind of make a little bit, instead of it going, kind of being matted on that brown cardstock, I wanted it to look a little different. So I cut off a bit of that side just to kind of almost make like a border around the grid, like that white grid piece, but only have it bordered on 3 sides and have it flush up against the right hand side. And here I kind of boo-boo. I don't know what I was thinking. I put the glue on the wrong side of the paper. Like, that's just retarded. I've never done that before, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I wasn't thinking about putting the glue on the right side, obviously. So the papers again were that dark gray, or the dark brown cardstock was from crepe paper. The Sundrifter is that white grid paper, which you can't really tell it's a grid. The Amy Tangerine paper is that blue chevron, as well as the orangey, pinky kind of diagonal stripe. And then the crepe paper is also like that it's like a chevron, multicolored chevron behind the photo. And I also matted it on some of that dark brown cardstock. And that gray dot is from Amy Tangerine as well. And here I'm pulling out these alpha stickers, which I am having a really hard time using. I only used it on this one layout. They're just not me. I figured because they came in the kit, I would give it a try. But they are just not the sort of stickers that I would probably go out and buy myself, and they're not probably something that I'll use. But anyway, they did go with this particular layout. So I couldn't spell New Year's Eve because there was no more E's. There was only one more E left. So I put New Year's, and then I was going to put 2012, but there was no more 2, so I couldn't put that. So I just put New Year's 12. And I think what I'm going to do after I've looked at the layout, I'm going to find maybe another letter thicker to put Eve in there. I'm not sure if it'll look stupid or not, but I think I might try it and just see what it looks like, because it just feels like it's missing something. And if you can see, you can see what I mean. It feels like it's missing something between that 12, and then it looks like there's a bit of a blank spot. So I think I might just see what it looks like. So here I'm still kind of debating on, what to put in here. And here I pull in this Bloomer's spray mist, and that came in the card kit actually. And I'm just going to spray that here piece with it. And I'm just going to set it aside to dry. I just felt like the kind of like reddy pinky color would go a little better than the gray that came in the actual scrapbooking kit. And here I wanted to back that, because where that here part was on that die cut, you could see through the other layers, but it was a little hard to read on its own. So I had this scrap piece of paper, and I was just going to put that washi tape on the back side and then just glue that kind of multicolor pattern behind the here, and then that way it was a little easier to read. And I really like how that turned out. And it doesn't show up on the camera very well, but it does show up better in real life. So if you want to stay tuned for the photos at the end, you'll be able to see that they do show up quite a bit better. Or like that washi tape shows up a little better. And here I wanted this part of the title to kind of stand out a little better, so I'm just adding some pop dots on the back of it, and that way this little part of the title kind of draws your attention into kind of like the secondary title of this photo. And I was playing around with some of the buttons that were left in the kit, and like I said, I was getting down to the bottom of the kit, so I was trying to see, you know, if there's anything else that I could use up. And there was these little wood veneer pieces, and they're stars. So I wanted to use those up. I think I only had one left, but I didn't want to add like a fourth one onto this layout because I just thought that the fourth one would make it unbalanced. So I didn't want to do that. And here I'm just looking at some of these rub-ons, which I don't think I use yet, but I do use, I believe, 2 on this layout. And here I'm just going to start attaching some of these pieces. I actually kind of wish I would have taken that check 1 piece and just kind of move it over so that it looked like a whole bunch of layers overlapping. Like move it a little over to the left is where I wish I would have been able to put it, but I didn't. And you know, hindsight's 20/20. Now that I'm looking at the layout itself, I kind of wish I would have been able to move it over. It just feels like it's a little unbalanced up at the top. But here I'm adding my title in. And I'm just lightly placing them down for right now, just because I knew where I wanted them to go, but just in case they needed to be moved over, which here they did. And then that 12th, I debated on putting on that side, but it was a little too busy, like paper-wise in that corner, and it felt like it was a little hard to read, so that's the reason why I moved it over. I do like it over on the right side, but just with all that pattern paper being a little congested over there, it was a little hard to read. So I like it a little better on the left-hand side of the photo. And here I'm just sticking down that secondary title. And I'm not sure what I do here now. Do I do journaling? Yes, I do. So I'm going to do my journaling here. And again, I always fast forward because I take forever to do my journaling. And then here I'm going to place down that, I think I glued down these little wood veneer pieces. It's been so long since I did this layout, I can't remember. Oh, here I add this little, there's like a curly Q kind of arrow piece, and I wanted to draw attention to the 12. So here I'm just going to take my bone folder and just put that rub on there. I just felt like I needed to draw a little bit more attention to the 12. And it was kind of like a little bit, I wouldn't say sketchy, but it was a little sketchy up at the top with those letters being handwritten. So it felt like if I did kind of like that journaling curly Q kind of piece, that it would kind of make those two pieces flow together. And here I took a piece of pattern paper from the card kit. Pardon me. I used this craft cardstock up in a previous layout, but there was, of course, this 6x6 paper pad that I had from the card kit, and I wanted to kind of start using up some of that pieces from the card kit. So I took the camera rub-on and I'm rubbing it on that craft piece, and I just slowly lift it up by the corners so that way I could see if I missed any. I can just lay it back down and just rub it back down so to make sure that it's completely put on there. And then I'm just going to cut it out. And I did like a little, instead of just doing a box around the camera, I always kind of do a little bit better job and just kind of go in between the pieces, and that way it really makes it look more like a camera. So that piece is going to go somewhere around there. And I just took those rub-ons and stapled the top clear piece where the rub-ons are on to the back ear sheet. So that way when I have them in the tray and they're kind of getting shoved around, they don't get that rub-on transferred somewhere else onto the other pieces. And it kind of saves them from getting ruined. So here I took a little bit of that blue ribbon and I just wanted to add a little bit of a camera tag or strap or whatever you want to call it. So I just added a little bit of that, and because it hangs over the page, you'll see me move the camera over a little bit later on in the layout just to make it work a little better. And here I'm going through some of these little pieces. These are those printable pieces from the Neverland kit. And just kind of place them around each of those little clusters there. And I started putting this little bit of a title here, but it just didn't fit well. So you'll see me move them down, and then I move them up to the top over by that here little die cut piece. And I work my way backwards just to make sure that I get the proper placement in here. And of course add some enamel dots just to kind of spice the page up a little bit. And these are the ones that came in the scrapbook kit, and I'm using the green ones. I think it's the green ones. I'm not 100% for sure on that one. So maybe look at the videos when they come up. And here I'm just putting the people who were in the photo on this little circle piece. Yeah, I am using the green ones. And my camera does not focus. Every now and again it just decides not to focus too well, so I don't know. It's not the best setup that I have in the world, so here I'm just pulling it in closer so that it does focus on the page a little bit. And here I see that that little camera strap is hanging over the edge, so I just move the camera over a little bit, and actually I like that placement a little better. And then I'm looking to see if I can add anything else that was in the embellishments. And I just kind of felt like it was needing a little bit of something. So here I grabbed this. This is that Amy Tangerine phrase stamp, and this, it has like a place where it has like date. So I just write in the date, and I put like the 31st of January at first, not thinking about it. So I did change it to the 12th. So if you see like in the real pictures that it's a little scribbled out, that's why, because I wasn't thinking about it. And here in those printables, we had this little piece that has hello on it, and that covered up that kind of camera part of like the lens part of the camera. And I wasn't too keen on the hearts that were in the first part of it, so I just covered it up with that part, and I liked it better. And so here's some of the close-ups. So thanks for watching, and let me know what you think, and have a great day. Thanks. Bye.